So when you take refuge in the Buddha also, that isn't that, I think, what it means? Externally, yes, we take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, Guru, Dakha, Dakini, but ultimately, with the support of the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, Guru, Dakha, Dakini, ultimately we want to realize the nature of our own mind. Because the Buddhahood is something that is not within yourself, but something that has to enter you is probably a virus, and you need antivirus. You don't want Buddhahood to be something to be coming from outside and entering you. So that is where the refuge, I think the practice comes about. So outer refuge is the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. I think Holiness already mentioned clearly. Guru, Dakha, Dakini. And Buddha, the teacher, Dharma, the path, Sangha, the supporting community. And Guru, the Guru, the Buddha, Dharma, the path, Dakini, the support to your practice. Or internally speaking, secretly speaking, your own clear and empty nature of the mind is the Buddha. The path to realizing that, process of realizing that is the Dharma. And when we engage in that process, then we become the Sangha, Gendun. Right? So, so what are the, why do we take refuge? For example, I believe that last year I remember last year we gave the Ngondro or the prostration practiced. We taught about the 4 ways of transforming your mind. The refuge was given. So when we gave, after the refuge is given, the practice of the refuge in the Ngondro form is the prostration. If possible, we do 100,000 prostration, 111,000 prostration. And for the time being, just to get familiarized, we recommend to do at least 11,000 prostration. So these prostrations, or when we doing physically, we are doing prostration, but from the speech and from the mentally, what we are really doing is not prostration, but the refuge and bodhicitta. But primarily in the beginning, I will say refuge. So refuge means, what are we doing? Refuge is, there is a 2 kind of refuge that we are taking. Right? Refuge process. So externally, when we visualize the lineage trees and etc., and we do prostration, we are taking refuge in the external Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, Guru, Dakha, Dakini. Then at the end of your refuge practice, you dissolve all the lineage trees, gurus into yourself, and then you remain in the nature of your mind without thinking of past, future, in the present moment. Whatever thought arises, we neither reject it nor accept it. Because the moment you reject something, we are fabricating. Right? We are saying, the moment we reject that diamond is not valuable, is a rejection. Moment we say, this is a diamond, this is a valuable, we are projecting, accepting, and again putting a value on something. So that is why we say in the mind, in the present moment of the mind, neither reject nor accept. Leave everything in its own, in the nature, its own nature. Right? Just be aware. So that is called taking the secret refuge. And it's called the secret refuge because I think that, because it's called the secret refuge. Now, what secret refuge is supposed to do is to give you, I will say, you can call it give you confidence or familiarize ourselves with the clear and empty nature of our own mind. And more familiarized we become with that, more confidence we'll have in practicing Dharma. Because even if you feel I am very angry, you will understand that it's not I that is angry. My nature of the mind is not anger. But by habit, I am becoming angry. Right? I need to overcome my anger. That's why Holiness said that purification is a purifying concept. Anger is a concept. Ego is a concept. Right? So as you do the secret refuge, when you have the confidence, then you will, for example, when you feel sad, you will understand that nature, yes, you feel very sad, and between sadness and happiness, all of us will choose happiness. Nobody wants suffering. But yet at the same time, it is important to understand that even though we don't want suffering, we are going through pain, the nature of the pain is emptiness. Nature of the pain is a union of emptiness and appearance. I wouldn't say emptiness, I will call it undefinable. Nature of all emotion is not happiness, not sad. That's our definition. That's why I gave example yesterday that if you go to a beautiful resort, in a wonderful palace and a crystal clear ocean, right? At first you will say, how happy I am. But if you really look into it, you will realize it's your own concept of such emotion being happy, or such a place being happy, that is getting reflected back at you. That is why after 7 days you will feel, it's a bit boring, I want to go back to my city. I want to go back to my busy life. Your concept will change. Or you will find something missing. Something is, then you need to take a selfie and then you feel completed, right? And in your emotion also the same thing. For example, I saw in the, nowadays in the, I think the China and everywhere, the bungee jumping, and walking on the glass, it's very popular, right? So whether for it to become, it's also, if you really look into it, you will understand the nature of the emotion is neither fear nor excitement. But when you tell yourself, it's a fear, it's a suffering for you to walk across the glass wall, you will feel suffering. Yeah? But if you can convince yourself, it's not a suffering, it's excitement. You live only once. And you are feeling then suddenly the emotion will, you have defined that emotion as a excitement, as a thrill, and you will feel thrill. Right? So anyway, so when you're able to take the secret refuge, when you really understand your own nature, being a Buddha nature, clear and empty nature of the mind, then you will be able to, if you are going through a suffering, you will understand the nature of the suffering. When you are going through a so-called happiness, you will understand the nature. We will understand the nature of the happiness, nature of the jealousy, nature of all. And you may, as interesting it is to learn that the China bone cup that you are drinking, or the ceramic that you are drinking, and the toilet pot that you are doing your business on, have the same nature. Similarly, we may be surprised to learn that the nature of the happiness and the nature of the sadness which breaks your heart, if we are able to realize the nature, both of their nature are same. There's no difference between the nature of the happiness and nature of the suffering. And nature is something that is that doesn't change. That is beyond definition. So, so that is I think the essence of the refuge. And then the reason why we came to this point. In the morning when we do the Tara practice, we assume that whoever is doing these practices already knows everything about what we have talked till now. So some of you have, I'm sure you know, some of you may not know, right? So without knowing without kind of understanding these processes, in the morning when we say Namo Kuncho Kunga Chizumarda, in the embodiment of the Tara, embodiment of Buddha, I take refuge. It's very hard to understand from what are we taking refuge. So if we understand this process, then at least we can understand that I am taking refuge from the sixth realm or the samsara. And samsara happens because of the karma. Karma because of desire. Desire because I do not understand the external appearance being manifestation of my mind. And I do not understand my own mind, nature being union, nature being Buddha. And that is why I am lost in the samsara. And that is why I am taking refuge in the outer green Tara, so that I will realize the secret Guru, the secret Tara within myself. So then even a refuge also, even a secret, simple act of refuge also kind of makes you recognize the secret Tara within yourself, the Buddha within yourself. And then similarly, when you talk about, I want to give enlightenment to sentient being, what does it really mean? Do you really want everybody in China, for example, Hong Kong, to become a green and go like this, I don't think so, I mean, I think government will not allow also. Especially nowadays in the aeroplane, you cannot take the trident, If you become Guru Padma Sambhava, it's a big problem, There's a trident you have to carry, right? So if you want to give enlightenment means like that, then that is a little bit fanatic kind of concept. But if you want to give enlightenment, it means you want all the sentient beings to realize their nature, primordial nature, whether they recognize it or not. Right now, they are pretending not to be Guru Padma Sambhava, pretending they are not Tara, but actually they are. All you want to do is make them recognize the union of emptiness appearance, union of, the union of the non-dualism. So then when you say, I want to give sentient being enlightenment, you also have a clear idea, right? So, negative emotions. So if we say that I want to take refuge from samsara and the negative karma, yet at the same time we are happily willing to commit the killing of negative karma of killing, because of which we will be born into the 3 lower realms, because of the stealing, born into the hungry ghost realm and the poverty, because of lying, born into animal realm, even the human realm also, unable to speak, having diseases related to throat, having having our voice, never having any respect and trust. And have because of having physical, sexual misconduct, our own relationships never working out very well. So these are the 4 precepts: killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, and the lying. And of course, within these also there are big lies, small lies, etc. For example, lies, claiming oneself to be a great yogi, great realization. I have seen this, I have seen that. Even if you have seen it, it is not recommended to me, say to others. If you haven't, then definitely not. And lying to, your guru, etc., your parents, lying, etc., are said to be the negative things. In killing also, killing out of ignorance, accidentally, as less karma. Killing out of desire, killing out of anger. So basically, when we accumulate these 4, when we do these 4 precepts, if we break, you can call it, we break or we do not practice these precepts. Yet at the same time, you say, I want to take refuge in the Dharma. It is like saying, I want to drink alcohol, but I want to take refuge in the AAA, the alcohol addiction, the group, I want to give up alcohol, but I want to drink 1 bottle every day. It just kind of contradicts each other. And the last, among the 5 precepts, the last, alcohol is prohibited, if possible. Because once you drink alcohol, you will forget your own name. And not forget about the 4 precepts. You won't even remember who you are. So that is why it's not really recommended. So even if you are not able to do this immediately, at least from the beginning, the first thing that we have to supposed to give up, or we are not supposed to, we recommend to practice, is not taking the life of another beings. So because when we take life of another being, we are taking away something most precious to them. It is not, human right. It's not a man right, women right, freedom of speech, wealth, house. But we are taking away the very right to exist. So that is why also, being a vegetarian partly or full-time is very much recommended. And if we are not able to practice the refuge practice, level practice of 5 precepts, we ourselves will be in a very big problem in this life and lives to come. So how can we talk about benefiting other sentient beings, the Bodhisattva level or Vajrayana precepts, etc. Very difficult. So actually the refuge precepts are, actually to protect ourselves actually. It's kind of selfish in a way, because we don't want to go into the 3 lower realms. We don't want to have a short life. We don't want to have the becoming alcohol addict and lose all your money, break up your family. All of this, it's for ourselves actually in a way. But in order to protect ourselves, we have to protect ourselves from harming others. Right? So, so that is the kind of the precepts of the outer refuge, outer inner refuge, and the secret refuge is of course. The secret refuge itself is one's own nature of the mind, clear and empty nature of the mind, and never forgetting that, and practicing that diligently is the precepts of the refuge. The precept of the refuge. So precepts and the vows. Many of us, we feel that it is a kind of like a promise or some sort of something that binds you. It does not actually binds you, it protects you. when I was very young, I always used to I always have the natural instinct to rebel against something that imposed upon you. So I used to feel that, oh, Buddha is very, very very, very bossy. He tells us you cannot drink, you cannot do this, you cannot do only you cannot do. Right? But but actually, from a democratic system point of view, it's your democratic right to kill and then go to jail, like we were there yesterday. It's your democratic right to drink, and then break up your family and get addicted, steal, go to prison, go to have poverty. And once we may feel that this discipline actually kind of, restricts us. But if you think about it, it may actually protect our freedom. Once we become alcohol addict or gambling addict, for example, there will be a time our wife, your husband, your children will be begging, please do not go gambling, please do not do drinking. And you will be with the tears, you will say, yes, my son, yes, my daughter, I promise you I will not drink. And you will try your best, 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, and after 1 week, you will have to take the bottle into the bathroom and then drink. That is the time we have really lost our freedom to our negative habit. So all of these precepts, disciplines, in a one way it looks like a kind of restriction, but actually these are the practice to actually preserve our freedom, preserve our discipline or control of our life, our own and negative habits. It is how we look at. So that is why there's 2 ways for the vows and precept. One is called a vow, and one is called a practiced, and they both mean the same thing. Now, after having taken refuge, if you are able to keep the refuge precepts, you will be fine, basically. You as an individual, we as individuals will be fine. We will not be going to lower realm. Most probably we will be able to liberate ourselves also, but we will not be able to benefit the sentient beings. So in order to benefit the sentient beings, Mother Sentient Being, we have to, the next level, right? For example, in the Tara practice, first we visualize in the sky in front of, front of the holy Tara up here seated. We do like this, no? So she is the object of external and internal, the object of external refuge. And when we say, homage to holy Tara, the essence of preciousness, in whom I and all being take refuge. So that is the time, we take refuge in the external Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, from our own samsara, karma because of negative emotion because of ignorance, in outer Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, Dakha Dakini, Guru Dakha Dakini, and in the nature of my own mind.